Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. As always, I'm your host. My name is Jeff, and alongside me, as always as well, is the AJ Styles to my Christopher Daniels. It's Max, everyone.
I'm really happy with that comparison. I feel like you've turned a corner, G. This is 3 or 4 episodes in a row where you've called me something that I consider a compliment.
This one was indeed a compliment, and there's a couple reasons why. One, listening back to last episode, I actually agree with your opinion of what that next step for Impact is. I'll give you that.
Okay.
I think it might not be new network, but bigger, Access TV, and they're working on that. And number 2, we put out a poll to see what the next tournament will be, and best theme songs won. So I have to give you something.
I would like to point out I voted for best theme songs on that poll.
No, you didn't.
I did. I thought it would be a good. Well, I thought we already did wrestlers, although I thought the knockouts would have been fine. And the title one is so clearly, obviously, the old tag team titles that there's really no point in doing a tournament to find out what the second best title is, because we already know the best is the tag team. So, and I thought, and I had fun picking the theme songs for your challenge, so I actually voted for it.
I won you over. Okay,
you did.
Funny. All right. Well, hey guys, nice to have you back. We're both a little under the weather, so we apologize for any coughs, sniffles, or anything else. But we promise you can't catch it through the phone, or can you? Dun, dun, dun. Today's gonna be a little interesting. We're gonna do some hot topics. We're gonna get back to that with 2 minutes on the clock, and then we're gonna talk about the X tournament, which I don't know how we didn't mention this. We are now voting for the top 10. Which we have about 4 that I think are locked in. 1 still ongoing right now. So we'll talk about that. Then we're going to do a little fortune teller segment with questions you guys asked us. And we'll finally talk about the rankings, you guys. So Impact's official to us. Impact Wrestling Power Rankings will be our last segment. All right. So Max, if you want to start the clock or pay attention to the clock.
Let me get the clock started. And I apologize, guys. As Jeff said, we're both a little under the weather. I have a real bad cough, so if you don't hear me and Jeff is carrying the episode, it's probably because I've muted my mic and I'm coughing my lungs out.
I'm sure they're used to that, Max.
Me muting my mic, or you carrying the episode?
I'm carrying the episode. I can't be nice to you. I already gave you the biggest compliment you possibly could ever have.
That is very true.
All right. 2 minutes on the clock.
All right. I am ready when you are.
All right. We're going to get right into hot topics. Our first hot topic is something that also touched on last episode, which is which locations should be next for Impact. Now, Cody puts out a weekly poll every Monday. And this one gave us 4 different countries, and the UK won by a landslide, which is something I wanted to mention last episode. There was so much that you fans have given us to talk about that I kind of rushed through some things, but one was doing another UK tour being the next step for Impact. And I think that's a good answer. UK market always has been Impact's market in my eyes. I think it still is. There's an opportunity there. They just have to capitalize soon. I don't know.
I definitely think UK is where I would go. Obviously, we found out that it's like the 3rd most popular program in South Africa. But I still think the UK is still a better option. It allows you more places. I think there's a better audience there. The crowds, anytime, and not just Impact, anytime I've seen any promotion go over to the UK, the crowds are always really good and really excited. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're not always there. It's like a once a year thing when companies go over there. So I think it would be something where the crowd would be really involved. I think you could showcase some of the UK talent that's over there that's always really exciting. I think it kind of brings a different
UK
mix.
talent's bought out by NXT, but
that's true.
And that's the thing is, even though the UK wrestling scene in my eyes has exploded over the past 5 years, especially. I think it's just like you said. There's thing that they see on TV, no matter what it is, or if they like the content, them coming there is something for them to get excited about. They're avid wrestling fans. They don't buy into all the other garbage. So I think it's definitely a great location and opportunity for them. Plus, it's always the shows we're seeing really cool visually as well.
Yeah, and you said it, they're really good fans, which I think is helpful. I think some of the bigger cities here sometimes get a little that's the thing. They get a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess they get a little spoiled because their shows come there so often that they just kind of take it for granted. I think going to the UK is something that the fans are really good and they're really excited. So I think that would be the winner for me too.
I agree, and I don't want to go over the bell too much, but I have to ask this one question. So UK is foreign, obviously. Where in the States? We've obviously talked about maybe being spoiled in Vegas, New York City. Where do you see Impact? I know they're going to Atlanta next. What city or state do you want to see them hit up?
I mean, I live in Virginia, so I wouldn't mind them coming here. I think I was thinking about that when you posed this question, because I think a good place to go for Impact would be try to find places that WWE doesn't go to as much, but still has a good fan base. So Virginia, like they're not often here. You can go to Virginia. If you're going to New York, go to some place like where you live up in Utica, or like find places where people are wrestling fans, but big companies don't come there as often. And I think holding stuff there would be a good idea.
I think that makes sense. You know, they're obviously growing. We've seen a 5,000 person sellout. So they have the opportunity there, but to continue this expansion that they're doing, which is really smart on management to choose locations. Yes, New York City and Texas or Dallas area and Chicago, them are all big areas, but they attack Ohio market, which isn't really always shown love. And now Atlanta, which is shown love, but not on that scale. So it's really cool to see them expand. So awesome.
By the way, on TNA on Twitch, it is Christopher Daniels and AJ Styles as a tag team.
Look at that.
Look at that.
You are the AJ. I am the Chris Daniels today. So
Topic
number two. Topic number two. This one's a big one. I know we chatted a little bit yesterday off camera about it, just to give our takes, but let's do it here as well. Chris Bay signs with Impact Wrestling. Now, I know we did some research together just because you weren't as familiar. So what do you think about him first? Let's go with that, just in general.
I would say I wasn't hugely familiar with him. The stuff I looked up yesterday, I really enjoyed. I love that on his Twitter, his pinned post, although it's from like 2019, is him breaking a ring. I thought that was pretty impressive. But no, everything I saw, I really liked him. I'm a big fan of wrestlers having good personalities on social media, because I think it opens up the wrestling, I guess, community to them. Like, it's fun when they're interactive, when you see them joking around, when they're not overly serious, and all the stuff that he has on Twitter is fun. Some of the matches that I was able to find really enjoyable. I think he's a good talent to add to Impact, and I think he has different options. I think he can go to X Division. I think he could be somebody who you could also build into a main event, I agree. Superstar.
I agree with that. He doesn't have that prototypical size, but who does nowadays?
Yeah.
But he has that personality, and yes, he has that social media presence, which is kind of what I want to get to as well. I think the big deal people made out of this was that Cody Rhodes had been talking about scouting them because they need more black wrestlers, which in general is just a dumb statement. You shouldn't need more. You should just, that bothers me. Anyways, he is talented no matter what his race is, first of all. Second of all, they've been scouting him, and then Impact had announced when that media conference came out that they had signed him. Now, the argument that is online is, he was signed since December of 2019. Well, do you want to admit that and make Cody look more incompetent as the EVP? And this is no disrespect to that, but just the fans in general, the different perception. Let's just say what it is. This is a great signing by Impact. They did it under the radar. They got to a guy who's going to blow up rather soon, and he already has on the indie scene. It's just a great signing for them. Great video packaging and vignettes that they're showing for him, even though he's already been on Impact. So they're presenting him like a star. I think he will be, and I cannot wait to see him versus Ace Austin or him versus TJP.
And one other thing, not to go too far over, but I do agree with you in the fact that Impact, I guess finding isn't the right word, but either way, finding these guys that other companies are starting to scout and say, we're going to grab them right away. We've already done our scouting. We don't, when the other companies are just starting, Impact says we've already done it. I think that's a really good sign for Impact.
It is. And, and we're back to back, well, now 3 kind of topics talking about good things Impact Management has done. And it's not because, who knows, maybe listening. It's because we talked about it last week, and these were our concerns. And it feels like since our last episode, they're checking off all the boxes we were complaining about. So we have to admit it. So number 3, let's get into that. This is what I had told you to make sure you watched and looked at. We talked a little bit about it before, but Gutcheck returned. I knew it wasn't going to be live in Impact or wherever they were filming in Las Vegas, but they did a totally different vibe to it. Kind of like, I forget what it was called, Global Forged, or they did a little thing when Jarrett had taken over Scott D'Amore. But compared to the Gutcheck that was in the ring with the likes of Joey Ryan and Cage and them, this was in, I'm guessing Canada. I can't really remember, but I would imagine up there. And it had 7 people, just kind of like a Tough Enough in a sense.
So I watched the episode. Yeah, I watched the episode. So here's the thing that I'll say. I personally was never a big fan of Tough Enough. I don't like the fact that you see all these people and then 80% of them are just eliminated and you never hear from them again. I'm like, well, that was cool. Some of the guys were actually really good and then they came back around. But the one thing I did like about this is there was a lot of, I guess, when they were just breaking down like the stuff that was going on about the guys they were looking at. I know on the first episode, 2 people, spoiler alert, 2 people get injured, and you hear them talking about like, when someone gets injured, not only is it hard for the person that got injured, but for the person who injured somebody in the ring, like how do you respond to that? That can be something that's hard to come back from. I thought that was really interesting and really neat to hear. The difference with the kind of, a lot of these guys seem like more established talent, so not so much Tough Enough where, hey, I was a pig wrestler down in Arkansas. Let me come in and see what happens. So yeah. I think they definitely have the potential to make stars out of these people, or you'll see them later on. But I'm interested to see, are people going to get eliminated, or is it just going to be more of a story of watching these guys go through and see what happens?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, is we don't know the premise yet. We only got a little tidbit, 16 minutes if you watch the extended on Impact Plus app. But they brought us 7 guys who are already kind of established, and some more so than others that we've seen on Impact Plus, different specials and such, but never given them the time of day to the sense of here's who they are, here's their character, here's their story. So this does for at least one person, even if it is elimination style, it'll give one person and even the runner-up a full journey, with a spotlight that is win, lose, or draw is pretty damn good to be seen by multiple people, because this is one of those things. Yeah, I hear you, Bell. This is one of those things that transcends wrestling. And we talked about this before, but sometimes to get those other fans or bring other fans over, it can't just be, oh, here's Impact guy versus Impact guy. Well, now here's a story where real life, you get to hear wrestling philosophy and psychology, and then you get to see it put in action or not put in action. And I dig that. I think it'll get some casual fans. So,
it also, as soon as the winner is there, it either gives you an instant, oh, I really like that guy, I really want to root for him, or, man, that guy was a dick, and you instantly have a heel created coming straight out of this when you debut. So I think that's a good thing too.
Yeah, real quick, do you have a favorite out of there, that or someone that you noticed?
So just the promos that I saw, one of the guys that I liked was, I think it was Shogun. They mentioned, now unfortunately he was one of the people who injured somebody, but just the little beginning promos where you saw everybody do like their little intro, I really liked his. I thought his was interesting. we'll see where we go from there as they give more spotlight to more people. But he was just somebody that caught my eye like real quick in the 16 minutes.
I'm a Tony Gunn guy. I like him from the work I've seen him outside of this. But it should be interesting seeing he's probably the favorite going into this. And Clayton Gaines, who's probably the second most, I won't say over, but known, got ripped into for getting up the wrong way. So anything can happen. We'll see what happens there. All right, so number 4. This one says Taya and Jordan. And I think more so we're going to go to the Taya side of this, but Jordan won the belt. This is something we talked about and haven't mentioned, that Taya's reign was amazing, and she deserves all of the praise she got there. We thought she would lose to Jordan. I didn't think it would be on a Mexico show, but I see why they did that. I think they wanted to push Taya versus Tessa in the first, and I think that's where our question is coming from here. There's a lot of trolls mentioning, and I say trolls because that's what this really is. The point is Impact's doing well, and what they have to nitpick now is minimal. And the thing they're saying is, what is the point of this championship, and what's the point of the Knockouts championship? My point of view, and I don't know how to say this, I've never said out loud, so bear with me if it doesn't, all make sense or sound out. The World's Championship is the World's Championship. You're the number one in the company. You're either the most over or the workhorse, whatever you are. You're the number one. The X Division Championship is the X Division Championship. It's on the same level as the Knockouts Championship. If you think you can exceed or surpass that division, like AJ did with X Division, or Tessa did with the Knockouts, you go for the Worlds. That's it. I don't know why this is a difficult conversation. It doesn't demean the belt. I don't understand why this is so hard for people to wrap around their heads. I get it. It's a woman. But these people what they're saying is essentially they want their women pregnant barefoot in the kitchen, and a woman can't be champion. I don't know. I don't like it.
So, I mean, that's actually a really good point you made, and I hadn't thought about that, but it's true. I mean, you have all your mid-card titles, which however many your company has, whatever, and then you have your World Championship, which is the top of that. The only reason why your Women's Championship would be on the same level as your World Championship is if you just don't let women wrestle with men.
Right.
But if you have a woman who can wrestle with men, there's no reason why she shouldn't go after that title. I mean, you saw in the olden days of WWE, Chyna wrestled men and beat them up and won the IC title. Right. You've seen Nia Jax enter the Men's Royal Rumble. So you've seen women cross that line before, and I think that Tessa's a very believable champion. I think that now, I obviously think that if she only wrestles women, at some point you got to be like, well, what's going on? But I don't have a problem with a feud of hers being with Taya, because they had a good feud for the Knockouts Championship.
Well, it's a great point. And my other thing with them is not only do they have that already previous battle there, that previous run, Taya, just like Tessa, has run through the division, and yes, she lost her title, but after 380 something, whatever it is,
yeah,
so she beat that division. She's exceeded those expectations, and now she's growing past that. So that's where I'm going to leave that, because it just irritates me.
Yeah, no, I definitely do agree with that, though. Like, when you run through a division that long, losing one match doesn't mean, oh, I'm not good anymore. It's just, hey, I lost, but you know what? I proved myself. I'm going to go after something bigger. I think that's a good thing. I don't have an issue with it. I think as long as it's presented well, I think it'll be a good feud.
I agree, and I think they did present it well, because yes, you're right. One match doesn't define you, but a year's worth on the calendar of champion just says that you're next and ready for something bigger. All right. Last up is actually kind of point B to this, which is the women's tag belts, the Knockouts tag team title. So obviously, the Knockouts in TNA were the first to have tag belts, not in history, but in modern day wrestling. Now, The question comes, everyone's clamoring for these to come back and prove that women's tag team wrestling can be over and not what they're doing with it in the WWE. Putting that aside, do we really need Knockouts tag titles when we're already saying women can wrestle with men? Right?
Well, I mean,
or are we saying, hey, this is Knockouts women vision, so they need their tag titles, but they can't mess with the men on the North because the North would beat their ass, which is probable.
Well, one, let's be realistic. Even with the X Division, not every X Division wrestler can go up against your heavyweight champion.
Fair, yeah.
So even if you have a women's tag team that decides to go after the North, you're not saying all of them can do it. I mean, it's
right.
So, I mean, I don't think there's an issue there. My problem is, and even when they had it before, I felt like it was kind of something they had, and the people held it to say, yeah, we're tag team champions.
Going together.
But yeah, but it never felt like they did anything. Like the actual tag teams, at least in Impact, I feel like are done well. They're tag team wrestlers. It's an honor to hold those belts. But I felt like even before with the women's belts, they just kind of felt like, hey, we've got a belt, we're better than you. But it never really felt like anything until they realized, oh crap, we gotta.
It was a prop. It was a prop. But my thing with, besides, I think Rosita and Sarita, who were whatever her name is now, and Sarah, what the hell's her name? I don't know. Anyways, huh? Yeah. The girl with
with Andrade.
Yeah, but the other one, she's Sarita. She's a NXT coach. I forget her name.
Yeah,
Sarah.
Okay. Sarah Del Rey? No.
Anyway,
I don't know why I even said that. What's her name? Hold on, let's Google.
But besides them, who were supposedly cousins and played that gimmick, there wasn't. You're right. It was, I think, Madison and Gale, or Ada and someone. So it wasn't really like they were a tag teams. Now the difference today, and I will defend this, you can obviously put Sue and Rosemary. Sarah Stock, thank you. You could put Sue and Rosemary together, and that's a tag team. You could put Havoc and Sue together. That's a tag. So you can do these things. You can put Tessa and Jordan together, who, or have talked about being a tag team. I think or Madison and Kira. So there's options of groups because TNA Impact is putting together. They're very good at packaging now. You have OVE, you have Ace Austin Reno Scum, you have the Dark World, Dark Realm. So you have all these things that fit with each other. So I think if there was a time to do it, it'd be now. Am I clamoring for it? No. But if we're gonna say they can't go against the North, then yes, we need it. All right. So that's our hot topics. We nailed them quick. We went through the actual time limit, didn't go too far over. Look at us go. It's crazy.
Special.
So before we go to a break, let's actually do a little justice to the X tournament championship tournament, whatever the hell we want to call it. We're in the top 10, and I didn't even realize that. Shame on me, but let's go over the victories so far. In the Paparazzi Productions, we are down to the final two. We had Chris Sabin go over Alex Shelley 60-40, which I love Alex Shelley, and I won't get into my personal top 10. But Chris Sabin over Shelley makes sense.
I agree.
I mean, what is it, 9 reigns or something crazy compared to Shelley's 1. But personality-wise, I'm a Shelley guy. And his opponent for this top 10 round is actually Amazing Red. Amazing Red beat Trevor Lee and Ishimori. And let's see, so Amazing Red had 69% of the vote, 13 to Trevor Lee and 18 to Ishimori, which honestly, and I hate to say this, and I voted for who I'm about to say, but Trevor Lee is the right from a statistical standpoint.
Well, unfortunately,
did you say that there?
I mean, I thought you were the biggest Amazing Red fan in the world.
Okay, see, but I can separate, just like Alex Shelley to Sabin, I could separate who was a better X Division champion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that Trevor Lee probably was, but I definitely think you have to give Amazing Red the fact that he held it when TNA was, heyday of
Yeah.
TNA. I think that counts. I think when you hold it also matters. So
it does, and I agree with that. I'm the first one to preach that, but Trevor Lee had like 3 reigns, and he held it together when, not much was going on. Let's be honest. So maybe that does take a. But got love for
when
Trevor
you and
Lee.
I are the only people watching his reign, it makes it kind of hard for people to vote for him.
That's not true. But coming out of the Paparazzi Productions bracket or region is Chris Sabin versus Amazing Red. One of these will be the final 5. If you had to put your 2 cents in, who do you go for?
I'd go for Chris Sabin. I think the number of reigns is hard to compete against.
Ian, I'd go for Amazing Red. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I got to go Sabin. Even though I love Amazing Red, Chris Sabin he is the X Division to some people, and he is statistically superior there. All right, so next up, we finished one more match. Before that, we'll get to the last one. Right now, you have another 2 days to vote, I believe. We have Austin Aries versus Matt Sydal. Last I checked, Austin Aries was winning, I think 60-40 as well. And then the other part of the sex region that already finalized was Jay Lethal versus Petey Williams, and the winner, 62-38, was Petey Williams.
You can't stop the Canadian Destroyer, man. It's
you can. When it's called.
You're right. When everybody and their mom uses it, but when Petey Williams uses the Canadian Destroyer, the real Canadian Destroyer.
So. To sum it up, though, in the top 10 currently, top 10 finalists, X Division, best X Division champion of all time is Chris Sabin, Amazing Red, and Petey Williams. That's a good sign. That's a good one. All right. So next up, we obviously have Aries and Sydal that needs to finish, and then we're going to make our way to the Elix Division. And
you're so proud of these names you came up with, by the way.
I am very proud.
This is like your crowning achievement. You have a kid, but I'm pretty sure if you had to rank the things you were most proud of, the names of this division would be number 1.
This podcast is number 1.
Oh, this podcast.
Number 2 is this bracket, this chart.
And your daughter?
Yeah, of course.
She's young enough that she won't know that you said that.
Yeah, she's lived a good life. She understands. So the 2 out of the Elix division are Frankie Kazarian versus Eddie Edwards, and we have a 4-way match because no one could decide on one. It was 50-50, and the other I used my save. So it's TJP, Christopher Daniels, Eric Young, and Johnny Devine in a fatal 4-way.
All right. Christopher Daniels is the one that should come out of that.
He should come out of it. We'll see. It didn't happen last time. There was an upset, but I used my save. So let's see who comes out of the Elix division, and then we'll tackle Don West Best and Jimmy Yang's gang. So with that being said, what is your top 10 looking like, at least as far as the ones I just mentioned? Between that 4, you said Christopher Daniels?
Christopher Daniels. Austin Aries.
Kazarian versus Eddie.
Part of me wants to go with Kazarian just because of the time frame. Like that's to me it's sorry, Siri. I just asked Siri, unfortunately, about Eddie Edwards, and it doesn't know anything about him. Sorry.
Oh.
My apologies there, everybody. But I would still go with Kazarian.
Okay. So you think we're looking at to join them would be Aries, Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels?
Yes.
I'm totally okay with that. That means we would get a Daniels versus Kazarian match in the top 10 of Elix division, and we would have a Austin Aries versus Petey Williams in the sex region.
That's a good one.
Remember some bangers. So keep on voting, guys. We'll put up an updated chart right after this episode airs, and keep putting in your votes because it's getting down to the top 10, which is really exciting. And speaking of top 10, on our YouTube channel, we have something called Let's Get Personal. My debut episode is on there. It is me counting down my top 10 X Division wrestlers of all time. And I don't want to give anything away, but I will say that one of the names I mentioned that have already made it to the top 10 are not on mine. Two of them. Excuse me. Two of them are. Can you guess which one is?
Amazing Red.
Yeah, good job. All right, so go watch that. It's on our YouTube channel. We're going to come right back after this break with a little fortune teller segment. Ooh, be right back.
Fortune 4. Fortune 4, bringing on the bitch slap from the way we dress, the way we roll, the fast cars, pretty girls, and lots of dough from the stage to the ramp and the ramp to the ring. These 4 quarters, it's high ecstasy. We can fly high, get you low, what you wear. Here we go, don't run, get high, don't try, don't you know? Fortune 4, Fortune 4, we about to change some things. We about to change some things. Fortune 4, Fortune 4, we about to change some things.
Oh, welcome to our fortune teller set. I don't know.
That was
All
horrible.
right.
That
We're low
was so
budget, man.
bad. We just
That's why we're the-
lost. We just lost
No.
half the listeners.
So now we're number 7 Impact Wrestling podcast in the charts and still number 1 in their hearts, man. We got this. All right. So, ooh, yeah, okay. So I got my shawarma. Is that what it's called? I don't fucking know.
Isn't that
On,
no,
I'm a
shawarma? That's the place that they went after Avengers, where they ate food, right?
good food in New York. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. So I got my hat on. I got my crystal ball. My third eye is open. This segment is very simple. I am going to give an answer or a statement to a question Max will ask me after I say it, because that's how into the future I am. Into the year 2020.
For any of
All
our
right.
older listeners, go back and watch the Johnny Carson show. It's very similar to that, except
No, this is original content.
except not nearly as thought-provoking.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. My first answer I see is Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
Tommy Dreamer mentioned that Chris Bay is the first of 3 big signings. Who are the other 2?
Ah, yes. I see Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin being those 2. I think there's a lot of matches that they want to have. The North, the Rascals, and so on. Alex Shelley's making a full comeback, hitting a bunch of places, including ROH and NXT, but I think he will come back, definitely for No Place Like Home. But I also think my predictions before are coming correct. I said Lance Hoyt would go to AEW. I said, I'll say it, screw it. I said Matt Hardy will be in NXT to reunite with Jeremy Borash. I said that off to a couple of the staff members. So this is what I see. Could there be other ones? Yes. Maybe a Kylie Ray, something of that nature. But these are the 2 that the fortune ball or whatever the hell it's called is telling me.
A crystal ball.
Crystal ball.
So bad. I think I'd be excited with that. I think they're a great tag team. I think they give both great X Division champions, as we saw from our poll. But no, I think I would love to have them back in Impact. I think it'd be great.
Same.
And
Same.
their theme music, also very good theme music, so works well since we're having our theme music.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they great theme music. But also, even if you were to add their ages together, they're still not as much as the champions of elsewhere. No, that's not true. I think they're 30-something each. They're 30-something. That's crazy, by the way. Can we just mention that Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley have been this long in the game and they're still in their 30s? Nuts, bro.
Are they really that young?
Yeah, I think Sabin's got the same knees as me, though. I think they're in the 60s, but
Chris Sabin is 38.
Yeah. 36.
Alex Shelley is 36. I mean, that's still, I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, you're still in your prime, I think, at that point. I mean,
It's
you still
40. He just got signed. That's not. Goldberg's
Anyway, 85.
Right. That's true. If you combine their age. All right. Next up, number 2. Ooh, all right. The answers are, let's see, Young Bucks, Johnny Gargano, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Hornswoggle, the Great Khali, Vince Russo, Vince McMahon, and David Arquette.
Trolls say the world championship is meaningless now that Tessa is champ. What do you say to shut them up?
Ah, yes. All of those people have been champion elsewhere. Gargano weighs as much as my daughter, I believe, as well as the Young Bucks. Hornswoggle is the same size as my daughter. Vince Russo and McMahon, self-explanatory. Great Khali, maybe not by size, but talent. And then Eddie and Ray, two of the best wrestlers of all time, two of my favorites, probably both in my top 10, are both, well, I think Ray's 5'5", same height as Tessa, and Eddie is only 5'8", or was 5'8". Not taking away for their talent, not saying she's on that same level, but come on, people. Let's think, and this is me summoning, we'll say that, because let's stick with the gimmick, summoning up only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people, 8 teams or people. There is a laundry list more of people that have been champion that tanked that belt. Or Nicholas, is that his name? The little boy who won the tag.
Oh yeah, who won it with Braun Strowman at Wrestle. Oh my God.
So Judy Bagwell has had a title run. So let's not get carried away here, okay? There is no, these trolls we should not even answer, but if we do, just repeat these names and just let it be. I think that's fair.
I mean, it's wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
people get thrown off of the second story of cages and then get up like nothing happened. Meanwhile, if you watch UFC, a guy gets punched one time and he's unconscious for 3 minutes. So it's all
wrestling?
about, like, you watch AJ Styles fight Brock Lesnar and you're like, man, AJ could win this. But when in real life, you know that Brock Lesnar would pick AJ up and swing him around by his ankles like it was nothing. So it's whether or not can these people go, and then when they have matches, are they good enough to make them believable? Yeah. Obviously, I don't want to see Tessa power bombing, a 400-pound guy. Like that's stupid. But I mean, if she can do it, that'd be quite impressive. But either way, like, as long as they're good enough to make the matches believable, I have no issue with somebody being a champion.
Yeah, and here's the kicker that I'll say, and I forgot who pointed this out, so forgive me. I'm not sure who put up the statistics up there. And could it be coincidental because Impact's on a roll? Maybe. But since Tess has been champion, every venue they have done, I think 2/3, if not more, have been sellouts. So in different markets with her title run. So that at the end of the day, if the numbers are saying her as champion are okay, then shut the hell up. It's that simple.
And I mean, smaller champions just have to use what they have to their advantage. They're faster than bigger guys. They use that. Like, they're not just going to go in and try and overpower big guys. They're going to use what they have to win. And as long as they do that, it's believable and it's fine.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Ray wasn't going to go toe-to-toe with the Giant. Like, that's just not how he's going to beat him. He's going to use other things. So I have no issue with it.
This next name I have wasn't a champion, but I can't. Let's see. Scott Hall. Scott Hall is my answer for the next one.
Is there anyone better than Steve Harvey at doing surveys?
Hey, yo. Scott Hall.
I think Steve Harvey's the greatest.
Scott Hall, baby. One more for the good guys. All right. Next, we have, let's see here. 5 are ineligible. Pinfall or submission makes you eligible. Pinned or submitted, you get 2 minutes in the box, and you hang the belt to win when you're eligible.
Oh my God! Will we ever figure out the rules to a King of the Mountain match?
Yes, those are it. Stop saying that online. I cannot stand it. It's a very simple match.
All right, hold
Maybe
on.
it's
How
a
does it
little.
work again? Go back.
5 wrestlers are in the match. They are ineligible. Ooh. If they get a pinfall or submission, they are now eligible to hang the belt and win. If you get pinned or submitted, you have 2 minutes in the penalty box. That's it. Does that make sense?
All right, hold on. Go back. Okay, so there's 5 people in the match.
Are you serious right now?
I'm running it over. Hold on. I'm running through it. Calm yourself. So there's
Okay.
5 people in the match.
Correct.
In order to win, you have to hang the belt.
Correct.
So it's a reverse ladder match. In order to be able to hang the belt, you have to get a pinfall or a submission over somebody else in the match.
Correct.
If you're pinned or submitted, you then have to go hang out for 2 minutes as the match just keeps going on without you.
Correct.
Okay, I understand why this match is not still done, but the rules aren't that complicated.
They've been great matches for the most part, but the rules aren't that complicated. If people just would read a damn book.
What was
All
the
right.
thing in WCW where you had to like climb the cages that were stacked on top of each other?
That was the movie Ready to Rumble, which was underrated. Diamond Upside Down is a pussy. It's great. It's a great movie. And it was called the 3 Stages of Hell. No, 3 Stages of Hell. I don't know. I will have to look that up. But yeah, that's the one. David Arquette and
Yeah.
and yeah, Canyon jumped off of. All right. Next up, number 5. Let's see. All I'm seeing is the word yes.
Will anyone shocking appear at TNA No Place Like Home? Way to
Yes.
way to go out on a way to go there with your amazing fortune telling skills.
Okay, I'll go a little deeper. I think, and this is obviously my opinion, I don't have much inside intel.
Miss Cleo over here.
I would say, call to me now. But not right now, baby sleep. I'm going to go on a limb and say either by talent exchange or some other contractual allowance, Awesome Kong or EC3 will be at the show.
I mean, I think
that's my money. There's my money take.
I'd love for EC3 to be there.
Yeah, me too.
Consider the fact I don't know what he's doing right now.
Sunday Night Heat, I think. Sunday Night Heat. All right. Number 6. Ugh, this one's weird. All right. Enough to fill his pants.
How much will Max shit if Get Ready to Fly hits at the TNA show? That's
accurate.
That's accurate. I would literally, if Get Ready to Fly hits. Okay, first off, if Get Ready to Fly hits and AJ comes out, it can't be some random dude. They're trying to pass off as AJ Styles.
Shark Boy comes out.
Shark Boy comes out. If that happens, I'll probably never watch TNA or Impact ever again. I'll be so upset. But if AJ Styles comes out at that, I'd probably literally cry. I'd be so happy.
All right, same
It'd
here.
be the greatest thing ever.
And just try not to shit. You'll be on my couch. So.
Unfortunately, he's gonna end up losing to the Undertaker at WrestleMania. So.
Are you a psychic as well?
I just, it's once again we're pro wrestling, but right now the WWE is all about those aging veterans like AJ Styles, The Fiend, and Ricochet, putting over those up and coming youngsters like The Undertaker, Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar. So I just see them, giving those young guys the push they need to make it to the next level.
It's 2020. 50 is the new 47. So
exactly.
All right, we got 2.
Billionaire Vince's Wrestling War Room.
Let's see. The name of the promotion stands for Anthem Exhibitions and Wrestling.
Do any wrestling conspiracies reveal themselves to be true in the future, especially with AEW?
AEW is Impact. Impact is AEW.
Oh, get out of here.
Bank on it. Bank on it, people. Think about it. Think about it. The clues are there. All right.
Do you really think that?
Joking aside, if you read my tweets from my personal one, I've said this from day one that there's a little bit too much suspicion there for me not to say that Don Callis and Cody and them couldn't put something like this together. Kenny Omega, all of his friends, Jericho. Look, Impact has had a rough time getting back. They thought it was maybe unsalvageable. To partner with 5 of your friends and send over agree to let some of your talent go there, including Lucha Brothers, LAX, and others. Let them steal our tunnels that TNA used to use. I think there's something to that. Now, does it mean they actually own each other's Anthem exhibitions in wrestling? AEW actually own AEW? I don't think so. Joking aside, but there's so many things. Like I think Cody's a smart guy. So this Chris Bay thing, that seems a little suspicious. I don't know. I think anything's possible, but I think for them guys with the brains they have to think, hey, you know what? It might be hard getting back from Impact because we're hated. So you guys do your own thing. Get your own, you already have the Marks and the Hot Topic crew running and selling out places. Do your thing. When we build ourselves back up, we could show up on live television, Dark Order or not, who knows, and do a real invasion. I wouldn't put it past them.
So what you're saying is the Young Bucks are going to show up on the TNA Homecoming, and you're going to be proven right.
If that happens, or say the ICU is actually SCU, and it's Daniels and Kazarian, who knows? All right. Last, I'll let you guys think on that. Prove me wrong. Okay, number 8. Okay. Right after this break.
When will the first Impact Wrestling Power Rankings be released?
Right after this break. All right. So I'm drained from that last segment. My third eye is closed, and we're that's so Impact segment is over. I'm just trying to say stuff to irritate Max at this point.
That segment, it was much more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be when you originally came to me with the idea. So good job.
Thank you. Stupidity reigns supreme. Sometimes wrestling, we got to remember to laugh, and that's all we try to bring you guys. We might be not the biggest or most reviewed kind of thing. We're a radio show. We talk about things. We have fun with it. We have segments. If we're not for you guys, then screw you. No, just kidding. Love, peace, and dick jokes. That's what we are. All right. So we're going to get to the power rankings. First, I want to do some plugs and kind of tell you how we got there as far as the power rankings go. But so every Monday, so today, if you're watching it or listening on Monday, Cody, our boy Cody, is going to put out a poll every week. If you have noticed, we already talked about the different markets UK winning. This week was regarding the Busted Open Tommy Dreamer segment, which we just talked about, who we think or who you guys think is going to be signed, and then we'll see what he has in store. But that'll be every Monday from Cody. For us, episodes 6, 7, and 8, including 8, which you are listening to now, is available on SoundCloud.com/TNAIW podcast, and our YouTube channel, which doesn't have a URL right now because we need 73 more subscribers. So even if you don't watch wrestling or you're listening to this because you're our mothers or whatever, hit subscribe on YouTube. Get us there so we can have a URL to speak of. And then speaking of YouTube, we have a few shows. We have the game show coming up. It's going to air soon with some fun prizes from Impact, including my signed picture of Dixie that says Jeff. No, that's not going to be a prize. Stupid. But Let's Get Personal episode 1, as I already mentioned, is on there now. It's me, and it's my top 10 X Division wrestlers. This coming Thursday will be Craig, Mr. Impact Blog's top 10, and every Thursday we'll have a different one. Even Max will be up there, and every answer, I'm guessing, is AJ, but we'll see.
It depends what I choose my top 10 to be.
There, well, hopefully, no, we're doing X Division wrestlers in honor of the tournament.
Oh, X Division. Oh, I thought I get to choose what my top 10 was.
Oh no. You choose your top 10. Just not.
Well, yeah, I know that much. I thought you meant I got to choose my top 10 topic, like, top 10 favorite AJ Styles moments, or
Jesus. Okay. Okay.
Top 10. I don't know. Finishing moves.
I like that. We'll do that at some point. But yes, we have the game show coming up. We have Let's Get Personal airing every Thursday, and then our roundup with Craig, Mr. Impact as well. He did a sacrifice roundup, which is obviously old now, but give it a click. And we have many more coming out. But the way this happened is we teamed with at SaveMe_RSK17, or better yet known as the best Twitter handle in the universe, Lucha Doncic, which I think is fantastic. I'm a wrestling and basketball mark, so there you go. But what we did was we took the champions and gave them points, or votes, we'll say. And then for this past week, every victory or loss, you gained or lost some points. And then you guys, your votes was the third factor in that. So this top 10 is off of what's going on Impact, what you guys voted on based on Impact, and it'll change every week. So look out for those surveys as well. They'll be issued Tuesday nights after Impact, and they'll release on our show every Monday, or if we're not having a show, on the site. Woo! All right. Plugs. And if we have merchandise, buy the merchandise. All right. We don't have merchandise. Not yet. Working on it. All right. Let's go right into number 10. Number 10, going up the charts, Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne doing her open invitational right now. Makes sense. She's prominent, and she's back to that killer or queen bee, and it's awesome. So votes, Madison Rayne got votes. So that's awesome, guys, that you're unbiasedly choosing these wrestlers. Number 9, a surprising one, but makes sense seeing their latest victories. TJP and Fallah Bahh as a tag team making it on here at number 9. They're up, obviously, this week as well. Number 8 was a big fan vote, and he's been getting some wins. Willie Mack, who...
I like Willie Mack.
I do, too. I think he needs that little something extra, as far as maybe a manager who could speak for him, or a gimmick where he can kind of capitalize on who he is as a person. It's hard for him because he knows that he's not the best speaker in the world, but someone who can either hype him or some kind of music that gets you. He just needs a repackaging in some way. Number 7, taking a tumble, is Michael Elgin. Michael Elgin also voted well by the fans, but he is on a 2-match losing streak after being up 2 on Eddie. Number 6, rising but also falling. Sounds weird, but it's Taya Valkyrie. She lost her belt, but yet she rose because later the next episode she attacked Tessa and now has a match for the Impact World Championship. So number 6 is a fair assessment. I dig what you guys are doing here. Number 5, taking a tumble. Wow, yeah. And for number 5, that means someone above them is not a champion, but number 5 is the North. The North, who are dominant in tag team wrestling, have been taking some losses individually. So maybe that took into play here. But the North is your number 5, guys.
Huh, that seems low.
It does when the top 4 should be champions. But once again, wins, losses, and votes matter. And they're losing and fans didn't vote.
Yeah.
Number 4. Yeah, number 4. Oh, number 4 is the person who's not a champion that made the top 4, and that's Eddie Edwards. That makes sense. A couple weeks ago, no. This week, yeah, he still has that now Kenny trophy, so he can cash it in and get a title shot anytime. And he's beat Elgin twice in a row. Maybe not decisively, but he's beat him. So Eddie Edwards is your number 4. So no surprise, our top 3 are champions. Number 3 actually took a little bit of a plunge after sacrifice. That's Ace Austin, who has been on an incredible roll. I think he's finally putting it all together, finding his groove, thanks to Reno Scum as well. Ace Austin, who I love. And is Mac's favorite wrestler, right? On Impact?
I really like him. He's currently on the roster. He's definitely one of... Yeah, I think outside of... I really like Tessa a lot, but if I'm looking at, favorite male wrestler, I think, he would probably be my favorite wrestler. Until AJ comes back.
Right.
Just got to put that out there. Disclaimer.
Got to get it in. And then number 2, shooting up. She rarely loses, but now she won the championship. And Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace making a big push up, which means number 1 is Tessa Blanchard, who's our world champion, who even though lost the 6-man, and then on top of that, she did win it Sacrifice. And she's in a feud right now with Taya, but she's the champion. Makes sense. Tessa's number 1, with Jordan Grace coming up the charts at number 2. So 3 women in our top 10, but 2 in the number 1 and 2 position, which is pretty damn cool. Evolving wrestling. Wonderful. So once again, guys, if you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, vote. It's that simple. But we have Madison Rain at number 10, TJP and Falaba at 9, Mac at 8, Elgin at 7, Taya at 6, the North at 5, Eddie at 4, Ace at 3, Jordan at 2, and Tessa Blanchard, world's champion, at number 1. I like it. I dig it. We'll release this online and see what you guys think. I'm ready for the backlash, and I'm looking forward to next week after Impact. See what happens. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good episode. It was entertaining. It was nonsense.
I think it was enjoyable. I like I'm excited to see where the X Division tournament goes.
Me too. I'm excited to see, now that I did my math and said there's 10 guys that we're getting down to. I think that'll be fun, especially since all of us are going to take our turn, especially including you, Craig, next week on Let's Get Personal and nominate, say our 10. It would be interesting to see if they agree with the fans and vice versa. So thank you guys for your continued interaction, plugging and retweeting. We can't do this without you guys. We really do appreciate it. I've been trying to write through DMs, each of you individually, that I noticed writing us. Both Daniels, AO on there, or IO, excuse me. There's a lot of cool people that have been supporting us since day one, and we really do appreciate it. Keep passing on the word. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, write us as well. We're always there. Our DMs are always open. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Later, guys.
Ecstasy, we can fly high, 'cause you know what you're wearing.